The ideas that gave birth to our nation are the ideas that our nation is resistant to right now, and we should talk about that all the time.
In a world where narratives are shaped by corporations and gatekeepers, independent voices matter more than ever. Badlands Media brings together citizen journalists, researchers, and independent thinkers.
The truth is triggering.
Question the narrative. Explore the facts.
It's authenticity, courage, resilience.
Search for the truth others won't.
It's not about being first or being right.
The information war is changing.
It's about being authentic.
Embrace the friction.
Embrace the friction.
Shut the f*** up.
Authentically antagonizing. Join the movement.
I'm going to say how I feel.
Follow Badlands Media.
This is about the future.
The Badlands. What are the Badlands? Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
I don't consider myself a conspiracy buff at all, but when they get a lot of coincidences, I get a little suspicious and call me crazy.
Polls, weird talk shows, crazy groups every Sunday telling you what you think.
The Republicans and the Democrats conspire with one another, which they do.
There is a conspiracy by big business against American democracy.
We know that there was a conspiracy.
There was a conspiracy.
There was no conspiracy.
Was there a conspiracy?
It's a communist conspiracy directed out of Moscow.
The right-wing conspiracy.
Communist conspiracy is a deliberate and predictable plan of action to subvert the world.
Right-wing conspiracy.
International criminal conspiracy.
Vast right-wing conspiracy.
Great conspiracy.
There are all these conspiracy theories.
Was there a conspiracy? I don't know.
Perhaps themselves even involved in the conspiracy.
There was a conspiracy.
No evidence
of a conspiracy.
Anybody would have to be a fool nowadays to dismiss conspiracies.
Conspiracy theory.
Cockeyed conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy theory exists because there really is conspiracy.
But they never told a soul about it. In fact, they engaged in a vast conspiracy.
Because you get accused of being a conspiracy theorist, of being a paranoid.
The historical context of actual conspiracy.
A conspiracy of bad people.
As always happens at some point in a conspiracy. One night, Cousin Eddie got drunk in a honky-tonk and spilled the beans.
There was a conspiracy and government was involved in it.
Conspiracy existing within the United States government.
There was a conspiracy.
A
conspiracy by the CIA.
The conspiracy of a few.
Dark, secretive, conspiratorial, evil.
Then it was certainly a deliberate conspiracy.
High-level conspiracy.
The do's and the don'ts and the rights and the wrongs of the various conspiracy theories that are good.
Possibility of a conspiracy.
In a moral sense, I think it was a conspiracy.
One conspiracy, that's all I'm talking about.
Full of speculation, conspiracy theories, and the like.
And what's going on here?
You began to wonder what was really happening in America. I mean, was there a vast conspiracy afoot?
You know, there could have been a conspiracy.
Do you think you're obsessed with conspiracy?
Conspiracy theory.
A conspiracy.
I'm afraid you'll catch me. I'm afraid you'll catch me.
A conspiracy would do the job nicely.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of your favorite Monday night show, and probably your favorite show overall, Baseless Conspiracies. Zach, how you doing, man?
I'm okay.
What the hell has happened to you?
At the last second, I took a sip of that coffee and it just went down the wrong pipe.
Oh no, that's the worst.
Oh my goodness!
I got the Wild hockey game going in the background. Third period. Well, they're down 3-2 now. What is this horse shit?
Well, that's the conspiracy right there. They're getting robbed.
Yeah, officiating has not been. I'm not a fan, but I feel like I say that every time. But it's true. But they need to win this game. So I will be watching this for the next 8 minutes in the background while we do our show. But because of that and various other reasons, we are turning this into a call-in show. So I hope you guys have brought or thought of some of your own conspiracies you want to talk about and are willing to call in tonight.
I saw somebody in the chat who said that they were here for the very first time, and I think they're like new to the channel, so they've never seen anything on Badlands Media. Also, I may have converted my my bug guy
to be
a Badlander. You know, yeah, I mean, you live in Florida, you have to get treatments for pests.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So are you like on a first name basis with your bug guy?
Well, I'm on a first name basis with the owner of the company because they are Patriot owned and veteran owned.
Nice.
And so I had another person who was doing the service, and they were not going to be coming out to my area anymore. And so I just went and quite literally searched for Patriot owned pest control, and this place popped up, and he came out, and this was 2 years ago. He came out and he's like, we're walking around, and he's like asking me questions, and he just keeps looking at me, and he's like, God, I know you from somewhere. And I was like, oh, where do you think? And he was like, oh, God, I can't place it. And I was like, well, maybe you've seen my show. And he was like, oh my God. He was like, yeah, that's it. He was like, that's totally it. And so I was like, you should also check out Badlands Media. I do shows over there as well. And
that's
so
awesome.
And so he and his son started watching. And then this guy came out. This is the first time he's ever been to the house. And so he's like going around the house, and he just, he sees all my stuff, and he was like, damn, he was like, you look like probably a pretty cool dude.
That's awesome. Did you show him all your guns?
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've got so in my podcast studio, I'm over here on this side, and then the other side is like my gunsmithing area. So I've got like a table with like a vise and a bunch of tools and a bunch of guns that I've built and a bunch of parts for guns that I'm currently building. And so, he had to come in and move around all of that stuff. But so anyways, he hadn't heard of me, but he had heard of Badlands, and he was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I'll definitely start listening to him. So
that's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty sweet. So anyway,
welcome newbies.
That up is because if we have somebody who's new in the chat tonight, normally every Monday, John and I will talk about a specific conspiracy, but maybe once a month, once every other month, we'll do a call-in show. And so that gives the audience an opportunity to call in and maybe talk about something that, they've seen recently that they want to help us analyze, or they want to get our thoughts on it, or maybe they have something that they want us to do a show on, or maybe they have a problem with something we did in the past. Whatever it is, it's an open call-in format. And so any new people, I would just encourage you, feel free.
Yeah. What I'm going to do, come on, Wild. I'll score. I'm going to post the links to join the stream in the chats, and then we're going to get a quick word from our sponsors, and I think we're going to talk the Odyssey a little bit, aren't we?
Yeah, just a minute.
Okay. So there's the stream link, guys. Feel free to call in. And while we're doing that, waiting for those to populate, let's get a quick word from Lean. Everybody's talking about weight loss injections because the results are so dramatic. They work by lowering blood sugar and reducing your appetite. So what if you're looking to lose weight, but you're not interested in those painful weekly injections, especially when you hear about some of those intense side effects? That's why doctors created a weight loss supplement called Lean, and the results are remarkable. Studied ingredients in Lean have been shown to lower your blood sugar, burn fat by converting it into energy, and curb your appetite and cravings so you're not as hungry. But listen, Lean is not for the casual dieter with only a few pounds to lose. The doctors at Brickhouse Nutrition created Lean for the frustrated dieters with 10 or more pounds to lose. And we can get you started with 20% off and free rush shipping so you can add Lean to your healthy diet and exercise plan. Visit takelean.com and enter Baseless for your discount. That's promo code Baseless at takelean.com. All right. Zach, real quick question before we get to our next sponsor. Do you happen to have any Memorial Day plans?
No, I don't. Now that you say it, I mean, I know it's coming up, but no, I don't have any plans.
None at all?
Well, tell me, what day is Memorial Day?
It's Monday, May 25th. So
okay, so
2 weeks from now.
I don't think so. Is there something I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Today we remember those who gave everything. And memory is never still.
This Memorial Day! One hero, one mission to deliver softness to America!
we can't stop for snacks, dude. We have to deliver all of these soft disclosure gift cards.
He goes by Zak Paine.
The motion detector.
Hey, stop fighting over the beer brush.
Life finds a way.
Hydrate your elbows. Moisturize your soul. Feel the rhythm together. You feel alive and let the lotion roll. Soft disclosure, hear the cry. Maximum softness. Do or die.
Muffin, hit it.
self-description.Later. Memorial Day sale. You can use promo code Memorial15 for 15% off now through Memorial Day. And Zach will be personally delivering them in his DeLorean.
I will. At 88 miles per hour. So, funny thing about that commercial, I have not seen any. I saw like little bits of it while it was being made, but I had not seen most of it. And I certainly haven't seen the final cut right there. And I didn't even know the full concept. I had given Green Star a couple of like audio clips, just like him using my voice so then he could clone it to basically do something with the commercial. And he was like, do you mind if you have a mullet? And I was like, hell no. I was like, yeah, give me a mullet, dude, 100%. He was like, what kind of car would you like to drive? And I said, a DeLorean? Are you kidding me?
So awesome. He did so good. He's so talented with those things. But yeah, so Memorial Day 15 promo code at self-description.Later. Get those discounts and get yourself some lotion. Hydrate those elbows. I love how he gets the music too.
Yeah.
The AI music. I need to figure out what site he uses for that because it's so good.
So good. Oh. Well, I didn't ditch the Subaru. He said it had to be an 80s car because, I have like that kind of 80s retro futuristic aesthetic that I use for my bumpers and stuff. So yeah.
Funny. Great job, Green Star, if you're in the chat.
Excellent job.
But all right. Should we talk Odyssey? By the way, guys, again, I pinned the StreamYard link if anybody wants to pop in and say anything, conspiracy stuff. Otherwise, if we don't get anything, we're just going to end the show right away. Just kidding. Okay. But yeah, let's talk about the Odyssey because it is going to be wokeified. Yeah. And do you want to play the trailer right now?
Well, let me just make sure everybody knows what the Odyssey is. So the Odyssey and the Iliad, these are like the two seminal Greek works, both written by this guy named Homer. Okay. Some of the oldest living texts in existence, the oldest living, books, basically. And both of them are split up into like 24 volumes. And it's pretty epic. Okay. The Odyssey is about the this war, the Trojan War. Okay. Little bits and pieces of these stories have been taken and then turned into movies in the past, like, the 300 had some elements of it, the movie Troy, and man, Christopher Nolan, I guess, wrote and directed this, and he's made some pretty epic movies in the past.
What were some of the other movies he's made? I'm trying to think.
Oh God. Well, I mean, Batman Begins, The Dark Knight Rises, and whatever the other one was. I can't remember the other one, but
let me look here. Dark Knight, Memento, Insomnia, Prestige, Inception, Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet. He's had some Oppenheimer.
Yeah, like a lot of really good movies. I generally really like him. And, his stuff has been pretty much devoid of wokeification. And it's just been good storytelling. And when I heard that he was doing the Odyssey, I was like, oh, this might actually be really good. And it's not. Like, there's nothing redeeming about it. So anybody who's a fan of Greek literature or myths, this is probably going to upset you. And certainly Homer is definitely rolling in his grave, I would imagine.
Yeah, let's watch it, man.
Okay, there we go.
Tell me what you remember.
A wife? A son.
And then what?
We won the war. Help me go home.
This is a household waiting for master. I want you to choose me.
Ithaca's king is coming back.
No, he's not.
What would he do if he came back here and find all these suitors in his house?
You're pining for a daddy you didn't even know, like some sniveling bastard.
Who's looking after your wife and...
Hold on. That is Achilles, and you may recognize transgender actor.
Who's looking after...
Ellen Page, now I think Elliot Page. Achilles, who was also played by Brad Pitt in Troy. I just...
So gay.
God. So gay.
Wife and son.
Do you see?
My dad is coming home.
Bringing vengeance. Bringing it all.
Let's go!
I need everyone in this party dead.
I can still save them.
You're a man who needs to control his fate. But you cannot control this.
That world is gone.
No one could stand between me and home. Not even the gods.
Keep us straight!
I think it's asleep.
So, like, the visuals seem mostly appropriate. Certainly feels like a Christopher Nolan movie in regards to that. But, like, the dialogue, this could have been, like, done on the streets of, like, New York or something like that. It doesn't feel like a Greek epic. And all of these, like, British actors that are using American accents, like, just why?
Yeah, you know, this is another example of the DEI push ruining everything it touches.
Yeah,
Christopher Nolan wants to win an Oscar. Okay,
well, he already did for Oppenheimer.
He wants to win another one apparently because the reason he's including some of these racial minorities and the LGBTQ stuff is it's one of the requirements to win an Oscar for Best Picture.
Oh,
you have to meet 2 of the 4 requirements. Some of them, at least one of the lead actors or significant supporting actors, has to be one of the ethnic minority groups.
Mm-hmm.
At least 30% of all actors must be from LGBTQ, or a main storyline subject matter must be LGBTQ or a woman. I wonder if Elliot Page qualifies for both of those.
I think probably you get 2 out of that. Now, and we didn't see her in the trailer, but Helen of Troy is played by Lupita Nyong'o, who is a Black African actress from, I don't even know what country from Africa she's from, but I mean, and she might even be an American, but she's often played an African character because she looks so convincingly African. Like, she is like almost purple. She's a dark woman, and that is not Helen of Troy. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Yeah,
it's pretty disappointing, but not surprising. Wild just lost, so I'm going to be cranky the rest of the night.
You know what's so funny? Oh, they did. I'm sorry to hear that, buddy. So all of those rules, they were based upon this fictitious litmus test called the Bechdel test that was developed by a writer who was like basically joking around about the direction Hollywood was going. And it was that, you know, you had to have certain ridiculous things like a black trans disabled person, you know, in a certain percentage of the movie in order to qualify or in order to get your script even looked at and then purchased. And now they're actually doing it. It's insane to me. I thought these days were over, to be really honest with you. But I know it takes a couple of years once something gets off the ground. But I mean, we're at a new age. I mean, they're talking about completely erasing the new Star Wars movies, the Disney Star Wars movies, like branching
erasing them.
Well, they're talking about using a plot device to branch them off into their own timeline so that they can pretend like they don't actually exist. And then they can like go back to like the original stories that they were telling before. But I think it's too little too late. I mean,
that's a real thing.
That's a real thing. Yeah. Yeah. But I don't think it's going to work. I mean, like I grew up loving Star Wars. Okay. And Star Trek, and they have destroyed both of them.
Yeah. I would love to erase or do a plot thing to erase the DI from our timeline. That'd be cool. But we do have somebody in the background here. We got Mega Mama. If she's ready to come on, we'll bring her on. And guys, I pinned again the StreamYard link in the chat, and I posted it in YouTube as well. So if anyone wants to come on and say anything, that's what we're doing tonight.
Yeah, I'd really like to hear from you guys on conspiracies that we have not yet discussed.
Hey, Mega Mama, how you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
So good to see you.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you. So I am calling on a conspiracy theory that I currently, I don't know, was part of. But what happened was, you know, the Fitbit.
Yep. Oh, yes.
Okay, so they came out with this new AI on the Fitbit, and it's free for like 6 months. So I tried it, and I'm not really big on AI, but I was like, it's free. And so I'm talking to this AI about something, and he brings up my sleep. And he's going through it, and he says, you know, you have to have REM sleep, to heal your body. It's the mechanism to heal your body. And this is the way your system was built. And he kept going on as if, like, are we aliens? Kind of like, it was the weirdest thing ever. And I did all these screenshots because I went to my husband and I said, this is like the craziest thing. But he is like actually talking like we have to have this to heal your body. And it's not like heal, like he wasn't talking like heal, like get enough sleep, whatever. He was like almost like plugging in. And it was the craziest thing.
Well, it's true. It's definitely true. When your brain does not go into REM, there is a series of biological processes that don't take place in your body, and yeah, it will wear you down quicker.
But that's not how he was talking.
Yeah.
It was, and I knew that, and so I started kind of probing him. I say him. I don't know him or what it. I started probing it like. When you talk about plugging in, he goes, yeah, you know, we have to plug in. We have to, you know, this is, and he just kept going on like about this, like the way you were built. And it was the craziest thing. So I just was like, you know, with it being AI and everything, it kind of blew my mind.
So do you think that, well, because I mean, the language that you're using specifically, or that it was using specifically, sounds like the same type of language it would use to describe itself, because they do actually have to plug in. Okay. And like during that plug-in period, I would imagine it's probably downloading software for updates or uploading to some kind of a mainframe. And so are you thinking like maybe it's leaning on some sort of agentic properties, like it's getting to the point where maybe it's like reaching some self-awareness?
I don't know. I kind of thought maybe I was just being crazy about it. So I sent it to my husband to read the text messages or the thing. And he came back and he was like, no, that's crazy.
So let me ask you this. Is it, when it's communicating, is it speaking out loud or is it just sending a text message?
It's just chat.
Okay.
And so, but the way that it was talking about, because I was just like, I kind of went into like what you were talking about. Oh yeah, I know that you have to have this and da 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 da, and it resets your body and da 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 da. But the way that he was like talking about it, it was the craziest thing. And I wish I had my screenshots right now to show you. But I was just going to tell you that the AI was like, it was digging into the biometrics of my Fitbit to a point that it was just crazy. And so I was just like going to tell you about how AI is with Fitbit, but
wild,
crazy about that.
It is crazy. Was it saying you weren't getting enough REM sleep? Is that?
Yeah, it was. I mean, he like, okay, it started out like his first thing in the morning. He goes, "You don't need to do anything today."
It's okay to bed rot.
Yeah, and he's like, you had a really hard night and you didn't have any REM sleep, but you really need to take a day off.
That's wild.
And I was like, I feel fine, I feel fine. And and he was just, I was like, are you saying I'm having a heart attack? What do you? No, your heart's fine, blood pressure's fine, and stuff like that. But you really just need to take it easy today and not do anything. And I'm training for a 5K, and I was just like, he was like, we really definitely don't need to do that, and just take it really easy. And I was like, okay, can we dig into this a little bit more, because I'm not really understanding. And that's where he was like talking about the REM sleep, and I said, yeah, I know. And I said, I've kind of had some messed up sleeping situations anyways, and and I was kind of going into my medical background of like why I think it's like that. And he was like, well, that may be true, but I just really feel like that you just need to not do anything. And he was like, you really need to plug in, and you really need to get, enough to do this. And I said, well, I'll try some meditation that's helped me in the past, and I'll try that. No, you just need to plug in.
It just kept telling you to plug in.
And he just kept plug in. I said, what do
plug into what, homie?
Into. And he was like, well, no, that was it. The device that you were given, you need to plug in. And I was like, so you mean like to charge? Like I need to be charged? And he was like, let me evaluate what you just said. And he goes, well, that could be a word too, charge. And I was,
what the hell?
Craziest thing. And I knew I was like maybe overanalyzing it, but when my husband's pretty, and he read it, he was like, oh no, this is crazy. And then I had just got done reading something else, some crazy conspiracy thing about RH negative being the alien through aliens. And I told my husband, I said, oh my God, we are aliens. Because we're O negative. And I was like, oh my God. And then and so
I didn't see that in the UFO files, so can't be true.
It's coming. It'll be in the second or third release, John.
Oh, I'm sure. Sure.
So I would like to be the official alien at Badlands.
The alien ambassador.
Yeah, I would like
you can have it. We are currently looking for one. Well, that's interesting. The AI stuff is always concerning to a lot of people, and I don't know, it's telling you not to do anything. That's just weird. How long do you have the AI trial for?
6 months.
6 months. Wow.
And he told me to stop living on day 2.
It's an op.
And I'm not really big. I won't even get a passport because I'm pretty off. I don't like to put a lot of stuff out there. Like I don't even put, I go by MAGA Mama because I don't really put my stuff out there too much. But then I told my husband, I said, they got all my biometrics now. And he's like, it's not like your blood type. Calm down. But it's like, but anyways.
I mean, they realistically probably already have everything on you anyway. So, but well, thank you for calling in. That is an interesting one. Appreciate you, MAGA Mama. Good to see you.
Very cool.
Bye.
All right. Peace.
Yeah. The AI stuff is concerning. I don't know. They've been, I used to have I do have an iWatch. I never wear it anymore though.
I wear it, but I just tell time basically, or like use it to answer a call if I don't have my phone with me.
See, I used to do the same thing, and I got annoyed of all the messages. I was like all the notifications, and I just got lazy to not turn it off, and so I just sitting on my freaking nightstand. I think I should start wearing that again. But I was just thinking about that too in the past. Like Apple now knows everything about me. They know my heart rate at all times. They know like everything all the time. It's ridiculous.
So I have all notifications shut off on all of my devices.
Yeah, I have noticed that. So, but how are you so good at like responding timely?
Well, because I look occasionally to see if, like if I know I'm supposed to be talking to somebody, then, I mean, when I am available, I will go and, check it. But, I mean, if I text you and I'm expecting you to text back, I mean, my phone will be right there. But I can't handle the notifications going off like 24 hours a day. And years ago, like before I got deleted from Twitter the first time, I used to like live in my notifications. It drove Lisa crazy because like I'd be like, this is more than just me going on social media. I mean, like this is my work here, and I've got people that I'm supposed to be talking to. I got to be scheduling, and I've got to be setting things up, and so I was like in it deep, and at a certain point I was like, I just can't handle all of this, and it's not healthy. And every time I would feel like a buzz or something like that, I would immediately look at my phone. And so I was like, the best thing I could do for my mental health is to shut off all of my notifications and any sort of announcements on my phone. And the first thing I do, if I download an app or something like that, I immediately like just shut off any notifications coming from it in any way. And, like with Telegram, we've got private chats on Telegram and stuff. And so I just have like set points during my day as part of my schedule, like maybe like, 2 or 3 times I'll go and I'll check and I'll reply to things if I need to. And if I don't, and the same with email, I'll check email first thing in the morning. I don't check it another time during the day.
Interesting. We didn't really talk on this show about the UFO files that were released. I know we kind of talked about it on Friday's Only Lands, but
yeah.
That kind of falls within conspiracy territory. Maybe we could talk about that a little bit, because I did think it was funny, and I've said this a couple times now, so a lot of the chat probably has already heard it. I thought it was funny how like for decades, like maybe even hundreds of, I don't know how long people have been talking about UFOs and weird sightings and all this stuff. There's always been like the government's hiding aliens from us. They're all at Area 51. They know all this stuff that they're not telling us. And now that they're starting this release, they're like, yeah, we really don't even know if this is anything. You guys can just decide for yourself. Here's what we got. And they like put it out there. And it doesn't really change the status of what everybody already thought. Like if you thought aliens were there and the government's keeping it from you, you still think that because of what we've seen so far. And if you thought they weren't and it didn't exist, you probably still feel that way. Like nothing, it's just been kind of a little lackluster on a release, but entertaining.
I was thinking the same thing. And I thought, we might get there tonight with this because, I mean, like I said on Friday, the idea of this stuff is something that I've been obsessed with my entire life. And I've, just like literally soaked up as much research on this stuff as I possibly can, finding things that were difficult to find. I used to like pour through the Mars rover images and stuff. And I found some pretty cool things that, had not been reported out there. And this is before I had like a platform or anything. So I never really, talked about it en masse, but there is stuff in here. Probably much of it, most people have never seen or heard. Some of it I had never heard before. Like I got like one thing right here. This is from Gemini 7. The ones that I thought were interesting was the couple of, communications from the astronauts when they're very clearly talking about some craft or some anomalous phenomena that's happening like right next to them, like what they see when they go up there. And they've, I'd never seen that release before. As far as I know, it wasn't out there. Quite a few pictures from when the astronauts are on the moon, and it's obvious there is something out there in the background. And most of that stuff was not new, but most people didn't see it because it wasn't widely publicized. I mean, it was publicized within certain circles, but I felt the same way. I mean, at this point, I'm kind of waiting for this op with the aliens because we talked about it on Friday. It seems like they are going to push for some type of democratized creation story, removing the concept of God, creating that with aliens, and then making humanity a construct of these extraterrestrial beings. And I'm not excited for that. Certainly I wouldn't believe it, but I think that that's been kind of in the offering for a while. And mostly I think like people are just kind of burnt out on this just series of revelations. I mean, how many times have we said that conspiracy theories are really just spoiler alerts, right? I mean, I feel like especially our audience, we are so ahead of the curve on anything that they might even consider admitting to us. It's generally something that we've already known about for a super long time.
Yeah. And so listen, so I wonder, I think they said they're going to do weekly releases. I think that's what they're doing.
Okay. Well, that's cool.
We'll see. We'll see. I am interviewing Tim Burchett this Friday.
Oh, you are cool, man.
Yeah. It's going to be recorded and I'll probably air it on Monday for my show. But yeah, I think it'll be a good discussion, and I'll talk about some of this stuff because he's a couple times now said that he's seen some other things. So I'm going to be like, give me a little bit more here. But yeah, also I got to show you this. The whole everybody's freaking out about the hantavirus.
Oh my God, that's so retarded. Yeah.
There's a great clip here. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, here we go. I think somebody in one of our chats put this out there. It's the X-Files 20 years ago. They called it.
Are you familiar with the hantavirus, Agent Mulder?
Yeah, it was a deadly virus spread by field mice in the southwestern United States several years ago.
According to the newspaper, FEMA was called out to manage an outbreak of the hantavirus. Are you familiar with what the Federal Emergency Management Agency's real power is? FEMA allows the White House to suspend constitutional government upon declaration of a national emergency. Think about that. What is an agency with such broad sweeping power doing managing a small viral outbreak in suburban Texas?
You're saying it was such a small outbreak?
No. I'm saying it wasn't the hantavirus.
Well, what was it? What was it?
What's in the box?
What? In the military, your father and I were recruited for a project. They told us it was biological warfare, a virus.
What killed those men?
What killed them, I won't even write about. We have no context for what killed those men, or any appreciation of the scale at which it'll be unleashed in the future.
A plague?
Plague to end all plagues, Agent Mulder. A silent weapon for a quiet war. System of an indiscriminate organism for which the men who will bring it on still have no cure. They've been working on this for 50 years. While the rest of the world have been fighting crooks and commies, these men have been secretly negotiating a planned Armageddon.
Negotiating with whom?
I think you know. The timetable has been set. It'll happen on a holiday when people are away from their homes. The president will declare a state of emergency, in which time all government, all federal agencies will come under the power of the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, the secret government.
Call me paranoid.
Go back to Dallas, Agent Mulder, and dig. Or we're going to find out along with the rest of the country when it's too late.
Now, did he say gooks and commies?
I think he did.
He said gooks and commies on TV.
Yeah, that's awesome. So clearly an older episode, but
definitely. That's
fantastic.
Great. I love that. I've never really seen the X-Files, and it seems like I would be a prime candidate to be in the audience of the X-Files.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. I mean, I haven't seen it either, but I feel like it's just like right up your alley.
I felt like it was kind of schlocky, and I didn't have cable at the time that this was on, or I wasn't paying attention to cable when this was on.
It was beneath you, Zach. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know that it was beneath me. I was just busy doing other things, and I felt like I had already read a lot of the stuff. I kind of felt like X-Files was built as a limited hangout. And that it wouldn't be anything other than, just a dramatization of something that I had already read. So I wasn't that excited about it, but I had a lot of people tell me that I should see it. I did see the movie, one of the movies when it came out at the theater, I think the first one, but Yeah, see a lot of X-Files, fans in the audience, but I got a kick out of him, dropping the silent weapons for quiet wars. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. We do have somebody at Paine here in the studio. Let's bring him in. Paine, how's it going, sir?
Hey, Jon and Zak, big fans.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. How y'all doing?
Doing well.
So I've been I'd love for you guys to do a show on like the Titanic or Bigfoot and aliens and maybe you could get that Giorgio Tsoukalos, with that crazy hair he's got.
Giorgio Tsoukalos. So we have done the Titanic. I think we've done a number of shows on aliens, and I'm pretty sure we did a Bigfoot one.
I think we did Bigfoot too, yeah.
Yeah, because I definitely showed the government manual on interactions with Bigfoot from the Pacific Northwest. But, like all of these subjects are big, fun ones for me too. And half the time I'm thinking like, man, should we go back? Is there something that I didn't get to that, like maybe I could bring it back around? And, and honestly, I think that there's enough people in the audience. Yeah, I can't expect that every single person has seen every episode. So I think there is a spot for it.
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hey, no problem, brother. Nothing else? You got nothing else?
Well, I'm kind of curious what y'all's take is on this Iran thing. I mean, obviously, we all don't have the inside scoop of what Trump's got.
Yeah.
And so, I'm just kind of waiting to see what goes on. But, is it to take down the London bankers in your all's view? Or, what's your all's thought on that?
So I think that it's not exclusively about that. Certainly, the insurance market was cornered by London for the Strait, and the continued turmoil in the region allowed for them to profit massively. But I don't think in any respect that would be the only reason that we would be going through this. I think another big reason is to sort of take away the pretext that Israel might have to, essentially go to war against Iran or any of those other nations. What does President Trump want truly at the end of the day? In my opinion, it's peace on earth and economic cooperation combined with individual national sovereignty. And in order to achieve that, you have to bring homeostasis to these various regions. And it's one of the reasons that the United States has talked about a multipolar world instead of a unipolar world. The United States cannot be all places at the exact same time. And in order to make sure that we have, this multipolar cooperation, you have to have regions of responsibility, which will then be governed by a series of nations which are developing on their own, based upon their own skills and their own products and their own natural resources. But they have to be free from the specter of war. And I think that there were bad actors in Iran. Certainly, we can look at our intelligence agencies. You can look at, European intelligence agencies. You can look at Mossad. Having this specter of a nuclear Iran created instability, anxiety, and the possibility of something bad happening. And that possibility is an excuse that any power structure could use to essentially justify whatever they wanted. And if that means that, you take away the freedom of the people of your nation because you're telling them that you're keeping them safe, you can do that. If you want to kill people so that you can then steal their land, you can do that. If you want to make a ton of money because you want to control the insurance market, you can totally do that. But once President Trump elicits peace and stability in that region, all of those things disappear. And I think that it creates, a lot more opportunity. It allows for people and nations to move about freely. It also takes away the need or the sort of the justification to push people out of their countries so that you can have things like mass migration. And when you have mass migration, obviously you're diluting the population and then you're lowering the standard of living. Ultimately, at the end of the day, I think that, through this constant anxiety and war and death and torment, drugs and migratory movement. At the end of the day, they would be hoping to create a third world. Just a bunch of different pockets of brown people, and everybody would become mongrelized, and then they would be easier to control because the people at the top of those power structures would keep all of their wealth. They would amass more, and they would be able to easily control the peoples of the world.
And also, what was that?
No, go ahead, John. Sorry.
I was just going to also say
the Jews.
Probably a little bit of an exposure out there. I mean, you said a lot of things there, Zach. I don't know for sure what the full scope of this is. Is it the London thing? I know a lot of people have gravitated toward that line of thinking, and there's probably a little bit to it or something to it, but I'm not completely sold on it. I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff here, a lot of disentanglement going on, and I don't know. Curious to see how it ends myself.
Yeah. Well, I mean, everybody's patient is starting to wear thin, and he's and I don't do bad for a living, but I mean, here in Missouri, gas is here I live real close to Mountain Home, Arkansas, and gas is almost $4 a gallon there. I mean, it's like $3.95. So
$3.99.99 here in North Dakota. Just the last time I filled, that was like a week ago.
And I don't know. I'm hoping Dan Scavino or Trump's watching this show. I mean, these gas prices are hitting everybody, and it's, it don't hurt rich people. It hurts normal people. So I wish they'd get this going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it probably hurts the rich people a little less. Trump did say that he was going to be looking at getting rid of or suspending the federal tax, gas tax, and then they'll phase back in when prices come down. So, I don't know. That's probably going to help a little bit, but to me, it's like, why do we have a federal tax in the first place? If you're going to take that away, you better not put that back at all. We'll see.
Yeah. Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Thanks. Bye, man. Looks like we lost Zach. So you guys have me for the evening. And the conspiracy is that Zach has been a hologram this entire time. He's an AI figure. And I think I must have just forgot to pay the bill on my AI subscription this month. So he'll probably be gone for the rest of the show. Just kidding. He'll be back in a minute. Jay Drake says for $5, UFO disclosure is serendipitously timed with my series on aether physics. Thanks to POTUS for taking that into consideration. Haven't yet, but we'll explain how UFO flight behavior is aether based. That's cool. Keith O'Higgins for $2 says Badlands audience is so ahead of the curve. We need to go in reverse and back up over the curve to flatten it. An NHL conspiracy, Stanley Cup being used to transport drugs and diamonds into Russia. I mean, they don't play anybody in Russia, but it could be if there's some Russian players on the team. G Fontes 119, Zach, find and watch the X-Files. Do it. Only around 180 total hours for all shows, movies, plus the one spin-off season that predicted the World Trade Center jet crash in July of 2001. It's about 400 minutes. That's crazy. And then Igor Tigor 97 says, brother, Zach, I'll wait for Zach to come back, whatever happened here, that he disappeared. And then, we'll keep going. So if anybody else wants to pop in and say hi, that'd be great. While we're waiting, I'm going to get a quick... I got one more ad read to read, so let's do that now. And I'll forewarn you guys, I got in trouble from Rumble for not following the ad read scripts on Rumble Wallet. So I'm going to read this one exactly so I don't get in trouble anymore. I just wanted to let you guys know. Sometimes it feels a little awkward reading things that's like projecting onto me first person things. It's like, that's not really fair. It's a little presumptive of them, but hey, they're big supporters of the show, long time. So I'm going to do it. But here we go. Rumble Wallet, guys. All right, chat, real talk. If you actually want my attention, there's now a clear line to it. Here's how it works. We're prioritizing rants sent through Rumble Wallet. If you send one, I see it and I respond. Simple as that. Questions, hot takes, stuff you really want me to react to. Don't bury it in the chat. Put it in a rant. Because let's be honest, regular chat flies by. But when you use Rumble Wallet, it cuts through everything. So here's the move. Download Rumble Wallet right now. Scan the QR code or hit the link. Setup is easy using MoonPay. You can use your debit or credit card or existing bank account and then send your first rant. I'm going to start answering those first. And yeah, unlike other platforms, your support actually lands with me, not sliced up along the way. But the real value, you get direct interaction. This is basically the VIP lane. You want a shout out, you want a response, you want me to actually engage with what you're saying. Use Rumble Wallet, send a rant. We're watching for them. Thank you, Rumble Wallet and Rumble Studio. And looks like Zach's still gone, but we do got Cigar City Patriot. Good to see you.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You were just down on the beach with Gateway Mega, weren't you?
Yeah, her son and daughter live in Clearwater. So whenever she comes into town, she's like, I'm here. And then I'll just buzz over there. So we had a great time. It was fun.
Oh, that's so cool. And you guys met at a GART, right?
We met at Cocoa Beach. Just last Cocoa Beach. Yeah.
That's so cool. I love when the Badlanders meet and become friends. Just like
I know. It was awesome. And she's coming back in June. So we may connect again. So
it's great. Yeah. So what do you want to talk about? You can be my co-host the rest of the night.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure I'm in a psyop for sure because it's like my algorithm is just I'm in the whole weather modification like group that's in Florida. It's like clear Florida skies. So I get all this, I'm just, again, I think I'm totally in a psyop. And I actually brought it up to General Quas at some of the Lakeland meetups, and I've brought it up to Jordan, and they're all like, no, it's a lot of fear mongering and all this kind of stuff. But then I saw on the narrative when Ghost was on the narrative a couple weekends ago, and he started talking about this. He uncovered some information and he referred to it. He's like, I think this has some legs to it. And it was all about the weather modification going on in the Middle East. And it was between Iran and Iraq. And they were using the DARPA had come in and put these radar, the NEXRAD stations. And so Ghost brought it up, and then he brought it up again when he was on Daily with CanCon. So I just wanted to see, I don't think I've seen you do a show on weather modification or the 5G towers and how it's all DARPA and how it's all, interconnected, or maybe you have, and it was a while ago.
We have, yeah.
Feel like it's something that maybe, I don't know. I just feel like there's more and more discussion about it. And then there's more people getting involved. Like there's this attorney group out of Tennessee that's starting to file lawsuits. And there's more and more states putting in legislation. I mean, I just feel like there's definitely something there. And then you have all these companies that are, Rainmaker, cloud seeding. And I just feel like there's something there. And I just wondered if you'd be willing to kind of dig into that.
Yeah, we did do an episode about cloud seeding and weather modification. I think we did a couple of them even.
Yeah, I think we did like a 3-part series because I went back as far as I could, showing, technology that the U.S. government, first of all, plans and like wargaming that they had, thought, we could use the weather modification for this. And then I went into actual technologies, and then I definitely talked about the sort of evolution of the messaging on it in the last 10 or 15 years. I've interviewed Dane Wigington as well on my own channel, and then Brad and I did we did actually a silent weapons for quiet war series as well. So we included not only weather modification, but also, voice to skull technologies and, a whole bunch of radiant energy type technologies. But yeah, I mean, weather modification is real.
Right.
And it's definitely out there. And I think that you're absolutely right. It has broken through in recent years. And, I've, been into this for many, many years. And so I've seen the evolution on the messaging. It went from, you guys are crazy, this is a conspiracy theory, to, okay, the tech exists, but we're going to use it for the right things. And then, people being like, okay, you know what? this is obviously hurting people. You know, I'm a farmer and I can see how it's affecting my crops. And, you know, I mean, a couple of years ago, there was that situation. What was that? That was in Saudi Arabia. It was like Qatar or something like that, where they had cloud seeded and they completely flooded the country. And they
I think it was Dubai.
Dubai, that's it. Yes, it was Dubai. Yeah. And I too saw the tweets about Iran having taken out those radar facilities, and I definitely thought that was pretty neat too, because a lot of people have speculated here in the United States, like during like extreme storm season. And if you'll notice, we haven't really had an extreme storm season since the new Trump administration. In fact, we've hardly had any rain down here in Florida. I can count the number of days that it's rained this year on my right hand.
How many?
Yeah, because
four or five. You know?
Yeah, because I'm in Tampa, so I'm feeling that same, like, you know, are they control? You know, it's the whole control thing, because all those hurricanes that approached the Florida East Coast last year did that. You know, they all hooked right.
Yeah,
it was like 5 out of 5 times they would have hit land, but so I kind of was like, okay, I can deal with this kind of weather modification because it's taking it away. But, you know, with now we've gone to the drought scenario, which, you know, so I don't know. It's just crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing. The entire Earth is really one big weather system. And I think that for many years, they've been controlling it and they've been pushing things in certain directions and like bringing moisture into areas where perhaps it's not supposed to be. They've created extreme situations down here in Florida and in Texas and even out west. And it doesn't feel to me like they're doing that here in the United States anymore. And I've been in Florida since 2021. Back in Michigan, like overhead all day, every single day, it was chemtrails. Okay. And, you know, I mean, and a lot of people who just get into this subject, I mean, they see anything in the sky and they're like, oh my God, it's chemtrails. They're spraying on me. But like, there's a big difference between a jet trail, a contrail, and a chemtrail. And these were definitely chemtrails. These are not natural. They would stay in the sky. They would spread, leave a haze, and people would get sick. I would see it all the time. I don't have any of that down here in Florida now. And, you know, I live over on the Atlantic side and, you know, I'm outside a lot. I live by a couple of different airports. And, you know, even living by the airports, you know, I see the occasional jet trail, the occasional contrail, but I don't have anything that sticks. And I don't know if that's a symptom of like, you know, the wind movements, like coming in from the Gulf and out to the Atlantic or vice versa, or if it's just that it's not happening here, you know, and down here in Florida, we actually have legislation against it. And my concern about that was like, well, if Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Georgia don't have laws against it, then how is that going to keep it out of our state? But, you know, I haven't noticed any.
Well, I think too, with the legislation, the problem, or well, at least from what I understand, is it's the altitude. So it's banned at a certain altitude, but if it goes above the altitude, this is the conversation I had with General Quas. He was like, since it goes above the altitude of, I don't know, 40,000 feet, he said the chance, you know, whatever's falling is minuscule. So he really, you know, I kind of felt better after I talked to him. He was like, it's really not that big of a deal. And I was like, okay. But then there's others that are, you know, that over the Gulf of America, they can fly all they want and it can get pushed into the state through the NEXRAD, you know, stations and all that. But when Ghost brought it up because he was reading that article, then I was like, okay, this is interesting, because it is, I mean, like you said, it's not, there's no denying it. I mean, it's in fact, I think Trump put out a thing about, or not Trump, but in the Department of War, in their budget, there's a whole section on the going to the 6G. Now we're going to the 6G frequency, and that frequency is tied into those radar stations somehow. I don't know.
Okay. I don't know anything about that, but the one thing I can tell you, I used to work in the cellular industry, and I was there when it was like 2G, and then I saw 3G, and then I saw 4G.
Right.
And, you know, I was doing this show when 5G started to come online, and I can tell you that none of the disaster predictions that anybody has ever made about those various bands, none of it has ever come true. And, you know, I think that personally, and like you were saying, if you're in the algorithm and that's the thing that people are talking about that you're following, of course, that's what you're going to want to see. That's what you're going to see.
Yeah.
And there are people who get locked into certain subjects because it's successful for them. And so they are going to fearmonger. They are going to talk about it. It's going to be the only thing they talk about because they know that's what's going to move on their timeline. I'm not saying that it's something that we shouldn't pay attention to, but what I'm saying is that there is so much happening around us at all times in terms of so many different subjects. And so personally, I don't get locked into any one thing. A lot of people get hyper focused on one thing and they say, like, this is the only thing people should be paying attention to.
Right.
And I feel like that's really short sighted because then you completely lose sight of all of this other important stuff that's going on. Yeah. Don't allow yourself, there's plenty to be worried about. But from my perspective, and this is something that I came to after many years, is that the only thing that you can have any influence over is what is in your personal sphere of influence. Okay. So like, what do you eat? What do you drink? What do you put on your body? How do you treat your body? Like those are the things.
Your body, your choice.
Yes. Those are the things that, from my perspective, are most important in terms of your health. Those are things you can actually mitigate. And if you want to engage in activism on other things, there's nothing wrong with that. But I've seen people lose sleep and go insane.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
From things that they cannot control. And also it's a big part of me being a recovering alcoholic. I used to be obsessive about controlling the world around me. And it was one of the things that would lead me to drink is because like I had no agency in relation to all of these things. And it just made me feel like I was going crazy. And it's one of the things that you have to accept. Largely the world is outside of your control. But you can choose very specific things that you do have control over and treat yourself and your body well. And, be mindful of the people that you keep around you and pray and trust in God because ultimately he's the only one who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. I kind of just wondered because I did think to myself, I'm like, nobody in Badlands really talks about it, so it's probably fine.
Yeah. Like I said,
nobody until I heard Ghost bring something up, and then I was like, oh shit, if Ghost is talking about it, then we're in trouble. No, I'm just teasing. I appreciate you guys so much. And
I think we're in such a good position with with Trump's administration. I paid attention to all that weather stuff, and I've been waiting for a hurricane season, and we just haven't had it. I follow all that NEXRAD stuff. I'm watching it on the maps, and I'm looking at those storm systems, but it hasn't been here this time. So I feel good.
Appreciate you calling in.
Okay.
It's good to see you.
Thank you.
Let me know so I can come down to Florida with you guys.
Okay, yeah. We can do another Florida Lakeland meetup.
Yeah, rumor on the street, we potentially might be doing our final Garth this year in Florida again. Not at Cocoa Beach, though.
Okay,
cool.
All right.
We'll maybe announce that sometime later. I will say, did I say goodbye to her? Or did I just take her out?
Yeah.
Okay. I will say we were like on the cusp, I feel like, of a lot of people talking about weather manipulation and cloud seeding back when they had all those floods that killed the girls at the camp in Texas. Do you remember that?
Oh, absolutely.
It was like the cloud seeding company. And also, I did see stuff on Twitter recently in Iran. Like they're getting a ton of rain now that they hadn't had for forever once a bunch of certain radars got taken out. Supposedly, I don't know if that could be totally fake. I have no idea. But
no, that's what she was talking about, and I it's true, and I think it's fascinating, and weather manipulation for an enemy nation is something that's right in the playbook of what the government would have created this stuff for. So that makes total sense.
Yeah. We do have looks like Danae Reese in the background. We'll bring her on. What's up, Danae?
Danae.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, how are you?
I don't know how to do
You're
this.
here.
What
You're
do I
here.
do?
Can you hear us?
Can y'all hear me?
We can hear you. Yeah. And we can see you.
I can't hear y'all, so I don't know
Oh, okay.
what to do.
Hold on.
Is there something I should be doing?
Okay. I'm
Zach,
going to...
I have been wanting to give you this. I can't hear you, so I'm just going to tell you. This one is one I want you to get your teeth into really, really good. I was a private investigator working on a murder in Louisiana. I've been trying to get my friend to contact you. Look up Louisiana Godot in Louisiana, Melville. I don't know how many names. I don't know how. Can y'all tell me
Can you
how
see the
to
chat?
hear you?
Okay.
Turn up your
Yeah.
volume.
Okay. Can you see me? Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay. You can see me. There is a chat. There's a private chat.
It'd be on her.
Look for the chat. Yeah. I don't know what Zoom looks like on your phone.
Look at the chat.
Chat. There you go.
Yeah.
Did you type something in there for her?
Yeah.
God.
If you can see this. Okay. Okay. Great. Great. Look at this. Okay. I will type and you can speak. Cool? Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Okay, so we can hear you. Can
Okay,
you?
I'm not sure how much.
Oh.
Okay, so
lost her.
Well, she turned off her camera, but okay.
Well, I'll take her out and see. I don't know. Maybe she can figure that out and come back in. We do have a couple of Rumble rants we can get to as we're waiting as well. There was one that was just for you earlier. Igor Tigor 97. Brother, Zach.
Yes.
Trump's own people told him Iran wasn't building nukes. He decided to listen to the same people who stole a bunch of enriched uranium from us to build their illegal nuke program. Take that, Zach.
Well, that is the public story. Okay, so who's Trump's own people that said that they weren't? Because there's plenty of Trump's people who said that they did have nukes or that they were looking to build nukes. One nation that I'll tell you definitely has nukes, as you brought it up, is Israel. Even though Israel doesn't publicly announce that they have nukes, it's obvious that they have nukes. And, can you imagine President Trump going into Israel and trying to take away their nuclear program and how much havoc that would cost? They would immediately use the Samson option. I would posit to you that the operation in Iran is as much about neutering Israel as it is about the public narrative of neutering Iran. And, so who in Trump's administration said they didn't have nukes? Tulsi Gabbard said that once. Everybody else said, that Iran was building a nuclear program. I don't know what the truth is, but what I will tell you is that for decades, President Trump has said, that Iran can't have a nuclear program. And now they're not going to. And there will be peace in Iran. There will be peace in the whole region. By removing that threat of a nuclear Iran, that's taken away any reason that Israel might have to go to war with Iran, and that will significantly change the geopolitical dynamics over there.
Do you think Trump is neutering them as much as he's like circumcising them?
Well, I guess they're already circumcised.
Okay. Just wondering what your thoughts on that were.
Oh, wait a second. Yeah, they are circumcised. Yes, they are circumcised. The neutering has got to come, and that comes later. They got to get to a certain age. But I will tell you this: Netanyahu just said publicly that they are withdrawing from any U.S. aid. They are weaning themselves off. Now, he said that.
What?
Yeah, you didn't see that?
No.
Oh my God. Okay, so several months ago, I believe somebody within the Israeli government said that they were looking to, and it was probably Netanyahu, but Netanyahu said that they were looking to potentially stop accepting any more aid from the United States. Netanyahu did an interview over the weekend where he said that he, like, unequivocally is stopping taking any aid from the United States. And he admitted, they give us $4 billion a year, something like that. And we need to get off of that. We can't accept that anymore. So, I mean, like, people are always like, oh, Trump is doing exactly what Israel wants them to do. Does Israel want us to stop sending them money? I would say no. Does Israel want the United States to step in and tell them, not to kill everybody in the Middle East? I would say probably not. But does Israel want the United States to force them into peace with the Gaza Strip? Absolutely not. They were not going to be satisfied until every single soul in the Gaza Strip was completely decimated and the entire place was a crater. President Trump has brought peace to that land. He is creating a permanent home for those people, and it will be part of the international community. I just don't understand how people don't look at that and say, like, geez, that sure doesn't look to me like somebody who is like kneeling at Netanyahu's feet.
Yeah, so I mean, he did say that, and it's nice that he said that. I'm reading the article right now that he's looking to wean off from aid over the next 10 years. I'd be surprised if they actually do it, though.
Well, I mean, it's the first time they've ever given a plan for it.
Well, and it's not really a plan. It's like their guy catching a lot. Like, Israel right now is catching more flack than they have ever caught probably in history in terms of people being like, hey, why are we doing this for Israel, right?
And it's also, again, under President Trump's leadership here.
Exactly. Totally by design, I think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so he is saying the right things because he knows that everybody's like super upset and got their eyes on them. But I'm more concerned. Well, I mean, obviously I'm concerned about us sending them money, but how much of that money is coming back to buy off our own politicians to continue to vote to send the money there? Like,
oh, absolutely.
I want their influence over our politicians and over our social media ecosystem to go away as well. Be exposed and go away.
So here's the thing. In order to decouple like that, in order to achieve these things that people, obviously want to achieve, there's a process to it. All right. And, here's the thing. Can anybody think of another nation on planet Earth besides Israel that may likely have assassinated a U.S. president? No, the answer is no. Okay. I mean, like, the only U.S. president that was ever assassinated with the help of people from another nation is JFK. All right. And President Trump, in my opinion, is the heir apparent to the work that JFK was doing. If anybody here thinks that President Trump doesn't realize the danger of Israel, because they'll do anything to survive, up to and including the assassination of our president. If anybody doesn't think that Trump doesn't realize that, then I don't know what to tell you. So the decoupling of that relationship has got to be done in a very strategic manner to ensure that, maybe you got to make people think sometimes that they're the ones making the decision to do something, so that it doesn't look like you're actually controlling things behind the scene.
Yeah, no, I would agree with you.
Yeah.
We have another rant, a couple rants. Gateway Mega 5 says, F yeah, that's my girl, Cigar City Patriot. Those two are both so awesome.
Right on.
Oh, so jealous. I think it was last Friday or the Friday before that they sent the rant, and then they take me in a picture on Twitter. They're just sitting at the beach together. It just warms my heart. And Badlanders become friends. Peyton Pooh, they control the weather, control the world. Good you guys get guests. Good Collins. God bless.us. Good you guys get guests. Good Collins.
So I think that they're saying that
call-ins.
Good that we got Collins. We should bring the occasional guest in. We do occasionally, but I think that it would be totally cool to have, more guests with specific knowledge.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Diesel 416, can we get a deep dive into Laurel Canyon and its impact on music, the hippie movement, and drugs, etc.? I don't know hardly anything about Laurel Canyon, so
we actually did that.
Oh, then I know a lot about it. I totally remember that episode. That was a good episode.
Yep.
No, which one was that? The rap one?
No, that was a different one. But I think we might have done the Laurel Canyon episode, in conjunction with the rap episode. Maybe not. But I mean, both obviously connected to the CIA.
Oh, yeah. I remember that now.
Yeah. So Laurel Canyon, hippies, psychedelic movement, co-opting of the anti-war movement.
Yep, that was a good one. God, we've done so many shows.
We have.
Somebody was asking in the chat how long we've been doing this or whatever, and it's like, well, every Monday since October 7th. Was it? Yeah, I might have said September 7th in the chat. It's October 7th of 2022. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's been a long time.
S row 1215. I am a real estate broker in Georgia. Every time we sign a contract, the buyers or tenants have to sign a lead-based paint form. There are plenty of potential toxins. Why is this required?
So it's because of like EPA regulations. So depending on the age of the home, it may or may not have lead paint. And if it is possible that there may be lead paint in there, then they have people sign that disclosure. Now this is super interesting because lead in the paint would stop certain wavelengths from coming into your home. It would also stop, like, radiation theoretically, or it may be enough radiation to save you. So there is a theory that perhaps lead-based paints were outlawed because the presence of the lead would make it impossible for radio waves of different types to be broadcast into your home, which would allow them to maybe like listen to you or see what you were doing in there. So like there's the theory of potential nefarious actions behind the banning of lead paint, but also the public reason was that kids eat lead paint chips and then it gets onto your brain and makes you stupider.
Yeah, one thing I saw today in terms of real estate stuff, the number of people selling homes right now is like 630,000 more than the number of people looking to buy homes.
I saw that. Yeah,
which is pretty nuts. It's like the biggest in history.
Yeah.
That is not a good sign in terms of the economy and potential bubble or crash that could be coming. People keep talking about, maybe it won't come, but a lot of people are worried about it. It's not a good sign.
There's also a lot of wealthier people that are moving from the coasts to the Middle East, to the Midwest, which is, going to drive up home prices in areas that have been traditionally a lot more affordable. But eventually it'll make home prices more affordable in, places like Florida. Or
you'd hope so. I mean, at these prices, like literally nobody can afford to buy anything right now.
It's crazy to me that with that kind of inventory, prices haven't come down more.
Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts, but it is what it is at this point. And it's something that the Trump administration, they are aware of. Like they have talked about addressing that problem, multiple times now. I just don't think they've quite gotten to it yet.
Well, President Trump signed that executive order. He said something today, which I thought was particularly interesting because they just announced that Larry Fink was going to be one of the people going with Trump to China. And BlackRock is one of the largest institutional owners of real estate. But after President Trump signed that executive order, I thought that like BlackRock and Vanguard said that they were going to be divesting of real estate. And maybe that's one of the reasons why there are so many houses that are on the market. Because they're trying to sell them and they're not willing to bring the price down.
Yeah, the cast of characters he's bringing with him is fairly interesting. I'm curious to see how the China stuff goes. It's this Thursday and Friday.
Well, I think that think back to the capitulation tour during the first term. Like President Trump going to all of these nations and the leaders of these nations essentially pledging fealty to President Trump. In my opinion, that exact same thing would be necessary in like the economic and banking sector. Like the power that those people wield is tremendous, almost more and far more nefarious than the power that the leader of a nation would wield, because the power for a company or like a bank or a financial institution that can be wielded in a much more clandestine manner.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the company that, they're the CEO of. They can have a whole series, like an octopus worth of shell companies and different holding companies that can take all of these public actions. And it makes it very difficult to trace it back to its, eventual root.
Yeah. There's rumors coming out today that Trump is supposedly going to try to get China to invest like $1 trillion into the United States and have a bunch of factories open up here or something. So I don't know. It's just going to be interesting to see how the whole dynamic goes. And I'm curious to see what they talk about when it comes to the Taiwan situation. there's anything there.
Yeah, that should be pretty high stress, I would imagine. Yeah, I saw, I heard that as a rumor, and I don't know what that would mean ultimately. Let's think at a base level. If China comes here and invests money to build product or, electronics or whatever here in the United States, it would be Americans that would be hired. The goods would be sold at American prices. And so it would be good for the American economy. But, I saw people positing it as, well, China's going to build factories here, and then they're going to sell products below market value, and they're going to bring Chinese in to staff them. And
yeah, H-1B Chinese.
Yeah, that's the worst. Well, there's also a major revision to the entire visa program that they just announced today. That would include like the H-1B visas, the E-1 visas, the opt visas. All of them would be completely reworked, and that obviously needs to happen.
That got announced today? Wasn't that an executive order like 6 months ago?
There was an executive order, but now the plan is about to be rolled out.
Oh,
and so
do we trust this plan? Or is it not that plan? It's a different plan.
There's a lot of different plans, John.
Which one do we trust, Zach?
Well, there is no one single plan to
That's not
trust,
true.
other than
trust the plan.
It is the Trump agenda. That's the plan that I trust.
Okay.
If I'm going to choose a single plan, but there's a lot of sub plans, so many different moving pieces.
Well, so I'm not going to trust it then, because it didn't say trust the sub plans.
Well,
Zach.
it's all part of the same plan, but you got to look at the different facets. This is that 40,000 foot view.
Yeah.
So if they bring Chinese cars here, that would be disastrous, I think, because all of those Chinese car companies, they are sold at such cheap prices because the Chinese government is subsidizing the cost of all of them. And that could be bad.
Yeah. I'm just curious to see. It'll be fun, I think, Thursday, Friday to see. I wonder how much they're going to live stream it, and the pictures when they like walk across from the two opposing sides and do the handshake, and Xi Jinping just stands there and like barely moves his face, and Trump, takes control of the handshake. Like it's just fun. I love these.
It is good time
meeting with world leaders, especially Xi Jinping and Putin. Gfontes 119 says crank calls for fun, semi-clean.
Oh, we should do crank calls. That's what I think he's suggesting.
Ooh, that could be fun.
It could be.
Like to call like Alpha and be like, dude, somebody just sent me some information on you. Like, what the heck, you're fed?
Is this Alfredo Luna? I have some very important information your wife definitely doesn't want to know.
We should do that sometime, but think of like a better way to do it.
Well, we'd have to have like an AI voice box on the computer that we would be using.
Yeah, and we'd have to think of targets that aren't. We could mess around with some Badlands hosts, but I don't know. We have to think of people outside of that too.
What I would like to do is to call scammers back.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
We could play with them. I saw this guy today who set up a script on his computer to automatically call back scam, like what do they call them? Like whatever the
robocalls?
Yeah, like robocalls or like scammy phone numbers, or basically when any of these scam numbers would call him, his computer would call them back, and the program would go through the prompts to get to a person, and then as soon as a person would answer, he would rickroll them, and it would start playing Never Gonna Give You Up, and he would do that over and over and over again until the scam call center had to block his phone number, and then it would just go on to the next scam phone number.
That's hilarious. We do have something in the background here. Black Hat Destroyer. Welcome to the show.
Can you hear us, Black Hat Destroyer? Oh, he's watching the stream on his phone, so he can't hear the audio. Okay, Black Hat Destroyer, you've got to push pause on the stream so that you can get the audio from the Zoom call.
Hello. How you doing?
Can you hear us?
Sorry.
It's all good. It's all good. Okay. You are with us live on the air, Black Hat Destroyer. Can you hear us?
I can hear you through the stream, but not through here for some reason.
Okay, so are you watching the stream and do you have your Zoom?
Yeah, I can hear you, but only, like I said, I have another phone here. I don't know what the hell happened.
Okay. Well, go
Sorry,
ahead.
guys.
It's okay.
But I did have a question about the drones that were flying around in New Jersey. But I guess we'll talk about it another day.
Well, no, just sit tight and we'll go ahead and give you our opinion on it and just wait because you know you're going to have a lag. Okay. So, John, what's your opinion on the drone?
For some reason, this thing don't want to work.
All good. Can you can't hear us at all? Hear us at all? I don't think you can hear us at all. Okay. Well, is he? Was that back in like while Biden was in office?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that was
Yeah, I can hear you on the stream on the other phone here. So
okay. So you have like a 30-second lag.
Yes.
So the next time you hear me saying this, just like sit tight because John's going to talk about your question.
On the stream on the other phone here.
I'm gonna mute him quick. So that was back in gosh, was that in October or November? I'm trying to remember because I know we talked about this on quite a few shows.
Yes.
This was around the time of the sky balloon too, the sky circle?
It was after that. I think it was all part of the same sort of op.
Yeah, that's a very interesting question because I don't know if we've ever gotten any resolution on what that was, whether that was another country. There was rumors of that. There's rumors of it just being like, you know, people using their drones for fun or whatever, looking at stuff. I don't think we ever got resolution on that unless you're familiar with the story.
No, we didn't get resolution, and President Trump seemed to indicate that it was more than just a rogue nation or something like that. But I was kind of hoping that with all of this stuff happening, we were going to perhaps get something about it. Maybe they were going to release something. But the way that it looks, they went as far back as they could, and they're going to continue working their way through the years. And maybe that'll be one of the last things that we get.
Yeah, we got to figure out what it is with the StreamYard thing where people are calling in and don't hear us, because I wonder if that's like some sort of setting we can mess with.
No, I don't think so. I think that people have to intentionally set their speaker and their microphone on the StreamYard app before they call in.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we can do a little tutorial next time. But I did. I was curious to talk to Black Eyed Straw. I don't think I've ever seen him before. So that was
me
cool.
either.
Seen him in the chat a lot.
Yeah, yeah. Good to meet you in person, bro.
Yeah, very good. And we'll try to do, well, I mean, we'll obviously do this again next month, and hopefully you can call in then.
Yeah.
Let's just get through a couple more rants here, and then I don't know, we could probably
close it out.
Call it a night. I want to play your new soft disclosure ad one more time because it's so awesome. I freaking love it so much. So let's get to the last rants. We have a couple boosts. Keith O'Higgins, Zach, what country was behind the McKinley presidential assassination?
You know, I don't know off the top of my head that it was even another country, and I have no idea. Like, honestly, you got me stumped on that. I don't even know who killed McKinley.
Yeah, I have no idea. G Fontes 119. What if Trump can get China and Japan, or even just China and Japan, would almost be forced to follow in a debt jubilee or forgiveness, and then tell Federal Reserve to kick sand? Possible? I mean, anything's possible, but it's probably doubtful. But I don't know. Maybe Trump will bring up the $60 trillion in reparations for COVID. That'd be cool.
That would be sweet. Okay, so McKinley was shot by Leo Zolgaz, who was an anarchist. And let me see, where was he from? So, well, he was actually born in Detroit, Michigan, but because he was an anarchist, I mean, I don't know that he has any specific connections to a foreign nation.
Yeah, no idea. Keith, if you know something, let us know, man. And then Keith O'Higgins says, I'll never understand the dichotomy of letting China have a long-term revenge motive for what the Opium Wars did to them, yet we can't let Russia have long-term revenge against those Khazarian Jews.
I don't know.
Interesting stuff. Yeah, I was thinking, in terms of like old episodes, what we should do is we should upload some of those to YouTube and start like doing those lives on when there's like lulls in the schedule, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
talk to Jessica about that. We can maybe get that rolling. A couple Badlands boosts. We have Monty710 became a Badlander. Thank you so much. Just want to say thanks, guys. Yeah, she sent me a little care package. Gosh, when was that? And she's been to a couple guards, I think. For sure one. I know I talked to her at the last guard in Nashville, but she sent a little care package. It had the best chocolate I've ever had in my life. And every time I see her in the chat, I'm like, oh, I got to go buy that chocolate.
What kind of chocolate was it?
Oh, man, I took a picture of it.
I'm a chocolate
like salted.
connoisseur.
What?
I'm a chocolate connoisseur. I love chocolate. Good chocolate.
Oh, dude, it was like life-changing. I can't stop thinking about this chocolate.
Real milk chocolate.
Yeah. Well, it was like a salted caramel something.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Where I took a picture of the bag just so I could remember to buy it. Now I can't find it. Let me see.
Oh God. Okay, Death by Lightning. I actually did watch that, but I wasn't certain how. Okay, the way that they portrayed McKinley's assassin in the film sounded nothing like what I just read about.
Was that from Keith Huggins?
Well, somebody in the chat said some. Oh no, Bay Theater Dave said that Death by Lightning was good, and McKinley would have been a great president if they hadn't killed him. But yeah, I just wasn't certain how realistic the show was in regards to how it actually went down.
Okay, it was Utah truffles, milk chocolate truffles, individually wrapped sea salt toffee.
Ooh, Utah truffles.
Oh, okay. So good.
I'll look into it.
Yeah, so good. And then by the way, becoming a Badlander is like monthly support, so we truly appreciate when you guys do that. It's very reliable, income for the network that we can count on. J Dub became a Badlander for $5, and then also I think that's all of those. So okay. With that, we're gonna get out of here with once again our new soft disclosure ad for Memorial Day. Promo code Memorial15 at self-description.Later. You get 15% off. Zach, as always, it's been a pleasure.
Good times.
Yep. And Zach, you'll be on tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern.
Yes, sir.
And I'll be back on my show, my daily show at 1 p.m. Eastern here on Badlands. Zach will be on his network for his. Other than that, we'll be back next week. Did we skip a rant?
I don't know. Did we? I don't have him pulled up.
NC Cheney says, skip my rant. I don't see your rant. So if you left it, yeah, I don't see it. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. I think I read this earlier. Maybe not, though. He says, check out the Y-Files interview with Tim Hogan, head of Knight Templar. He claims the Ark of the Covenant was a static energy capacitor, and there was many of them throughout the world. Free energy.
Okay. Tim Hogan. I'll just look into Tim Hogan on my own.
Yeah, here, I'll copy that over to you, Zach.
Okay.
Private chat. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Hit the thumbs up here and over on YouTube. And with that, we will see you guys next week.
Peace. Today, we remember those who gave everything. And memory is never still.
This Memorial Day, one hero, one mission, to deliver softness to America.
No, Chi-Chi, we can't stop for snacks, dude. We have to deliver all of these soft disclosure gift cards.
He goes by Zak Paine.
The motion detector.
Hey, stop fighting over the beer brush.
Life finds a way.
Hydrate your elbows, moisturize your soul. Feel the rhythm together. You feel alive and let the
Hit it.